Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and welcome to episode 4 in my series about what women over 40 are doing wrong. Okay, so this episode here is going to talk a little bit about women over 40 are out here majoring in the minors. What does that mean? Okay, if you don't know, majoring in the minors is focusing on like the worst things. Think about your all the stuff you're seeing on Instagram, like um, seed oils. That's what you have to avoid. Or you should be eating keto. You should be eating carnivore. Um, you should never have artificial sweeteners. All of these things, right? So what you're focusing on are all of these things. You're making them a bigger deal than they are. Meanwhile, your macros and your protein and your muscle are getting zero attention. Okay, so in this episode, let's flip that. Okay, you're going to see exactly which things to stop obsessing over and what to focus on instead so that your body actually changes. It's not going to change if you're majoring in the minors. Okay, so stick with me to the end. Okay, because I'm going to give you the three big levers that are going to move the needle for women over 40 way more than any like never eat this thing that you have found. Okay. So what is this majoring in the minors? All right. So this is what it looks like. You can list every toxic oil, but you have no idea of how much protein you ate yesterday. You've done keto, carnivore, low carb, no sugar, detoxes, but you've never actually learned what your maintenance calories are or what your macro targets are. Those are just things of majoring in the minors. You're terrified of bread, but you haven't lifted heavy in years. And then if it feels a little bit too real, y'all, you're absolutely not alone. So this video is for you. Let's walk through like the top 5 things that women over 40 are focusing on that really don't deserve center stage at all, and what you should actually swap those for. Okay, so number one, seed oils and single ingredients versus your whole day, right? So you're avoiding the seed oil, you're avoiding the one thing that you have read is so bad for you and you should never have it. You're stressing over every single drop of everything, but you're actually overeating your calories and you're under eating protein. So you're missing the forest for the trees, as they say. One ingredient does not override the math of your entire day of eating. Okay, so what matters is that you are close to your calorie range, what your goals are, that you're hitting your protein, and that most of your meals are built from simple whole food basics. Okay, number two, diet labels versus sustainability. So, keto, carnivore, super rigid plans can feel hardcore, right? But if you can't see yourself doing it a year from now or long term, then it's not a solution. It's just a phase. So, many women over 40 end up with lower muscle, more cravings, and massive rebounds when this diet phase ends that they're in, that this is not sustainable, like keto, carnivore, things like that. So instead, you want to build a flexible macro approach. Okay, so eating enough protein, having your carbs timed around your training, um, and healthy fats that you enjoy. Okay, so that's the plan that works. And the plan that works is the one that you can stick with. If you are in one of these other diet phases that you know cannot last, then it's not going to work, right? It's got to be sustainable. Number three, fat burning gimmicks versus actually building muscle. I have been asked many times, like, do you take fat burners? Do you do this, that? So, like, if your plan is all about fat burning workouts, detoxes, endless cardio, then your metabolism is not going to love you at 50, like, or 40, or any of that. It's going to end up rebelling against you. Muscle is the organ of longevity here, y'all. So I'm always talking about we want to age in reverse, right? You're going to need at least 2 to 4 strength training sessions per week. Okay. So we want to focus on getting stronger over time, building in daily movement or steps. And that's going to change your shape and your metabolism in a way that like fat burners are not going to do. Most of the time, those things are not going to work for you anyway. Again, if you're not doing the things like hitting your protein and your calories to be where you need to be. Number four, clean eating checklists versus actual protein. All right. So eating clean doesn't automatically mean that your body has what it needs. Most women over 40 massively, massively undereat protein. This is gonna it's gonna drive your hunger. You're gonna be like ragey hungry. It's gonna also make you hit plateaus in fat loss, and it's also going to cause muscle loss. If you do not have the protein your body needs, that is what's going to happen. So you want to aim for at least 25 to 35 grams of protein per meal. Okay. So build your plate around protein first. Then you want to build in your veggies, fruits, whole grains, fats, color. Color is super important, okay? So if you think of your food for the day and you can't think of a single colorful thing that you ate, you probably need some adjustments made, right? So, number 5 is fancy supplements versus sleep and stress management. So, yes, there are supplements that we can take that will help us maybe relax a little bit more, have better sleep in general. But supplements are the sprinkles on top of the cake, not the cake itself. Okay, so if you're living on 5 hours of sleep and surviving on caffeine and you're scrolling all the time on your phone right before bed and you're never deloading stress, then the best supplement stack in the world is not going to fix this stuff. So we want to focus on the basics, like sleeping enough. 7 to 9 hours, y'all. Like, if you're getting 5 to 6, you may think that that's enough, but your body is not going to say that it is. It's just not. You're not going to get the results that you want. When you rest, it's when you recover. That's when you have the best fat loss. Okay. So think of those things plus lifting, protein, hydration. Then, if you want to if you want to like layer in the smart supplements, like with the guidance of somebody that knows what they're talking about, then you can do that. But it's not a substitute for those fundamentals. All right. So think of big rocks versus little pebbles. When you're majoring in the minors, you're basically doing all these little pebbly things when you're not moving the big boulders like you could be with the proper protein, macro foundations, strength training, all of that. Okay. So, protein and macros, know where you are. If you're a woman over 40 who wants fat loss, muscle, and energy, then these are the main things you need to focus on. All right. So, again, protein, strength training, movement, and recovery, like a minimum probably of 6 to 7,000 steps a day, 7 to 9 hours of sleep, enough water. If you nail these things and you've got your macros in check and where they need to be, then you're going to make great, great progress. All right. So, if this kind of hit home for you and you realize that maybe you have been majoring in the minors, you're not, there's nothing wrong. You're not broken. But you've just been following the wrong advice. Like, and it's so easy to do, y'all. I know, like with finding things online and you're like, oh, this is what I should be doing. So shift your focus to those big rocks, okay? Not the little pebbles when you're in your 40s, or even 50s and beyond, okay? You can have the strongest years of your life. Like I said, we want to age in reverse. If you want help setting your macros, building a realistic strength plan, getting out of diet jail, check the links in the description below to work with me. You can join my program and community. And if any of this episode helped, please hit like and subscribe and share it with another woman over 40 who needs to hear this and who they need to stop stressing about all of the minor things that aren't really helping them. And maybe they need to start building muscle. Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed and I will talk to you soon.